In this video, I'm going to quickly show you how to create Windows 10 or Windows 11 installation media. First thing to do is open your web browser. I'll go to Google, even though we are downloading a Windows or a Microsoft product, and just simply type Windows 10 download. At this point, you can scroll down, and I'll click on this first link right here. At this point, you're presented with two options. You can either update the current machine that you're using, or you can download the download tool. We are going to do the second option. Once that happens, I'm going to open the file. Click yes. Click accept. You are free to read all of the applicable notices and license terms. Here, you are presented with two options to either upgrade this PC or create installation media. We're going to choose the second option. That will allow us to either create a USB flash drive, a DVD, or an ISO. It says for another PC, but of course, once you actually create the installation media, you are free to use that installation media on this PC if you want. So after you select create installation media, select next. Here, you're presented with three options: the language, the edition, and the architecture. We're just going to leave things the way they are by leaving use the recommended options for this PC checked. Click next. Here, you are given two options to either create the USB flash drive or the ISO file. We are going to select the first option and make sure that you have a flash drive that is at least 8 gigabytes in size. The second option would give you or would allow you to create a DVD or an ISO file. That way you could install Windows from that ISO file or from that DVD at a later time. Using the ISO file, or creating the ISO file, I should say, is a faster method. You create the installation media faster, and installing Windows from the flash drive is also faster. So leave USB flash drive select, click next. As of right now, it is saying that it cannot find a USB flash drive. I've done that on purpose because I just wanted to give you the option to see what happens if you do not have a flash drive installed. I'm going to insert my flash drive, and then you must click refresh drive list, and now it is visible. It has been selected, and if you have multiple flash drives inserted into your machine, all of them will pop up here, but I have just one, so I've selected that one. Click next. This is going to take some time, so I'm going to fast forward the video. At this point, your flash drive is finished and ready to use, so go ahead and click finish. And that's it in terms of creating the actual drive. In order to actually boot from the USB drive or the DVD drive, if you happen to go that route, you need to enter the one-time boot option menu, or sometimes even the BIOS, because if that doesn't work, you might need to actually go into the BIOS. So on the screen right now, I have provided a list of PC manufacturers, as well as the keys you would need to press in order to access that particular menu, whether it's the boot option or the actual BIOS. Now, all I did was just Google this stuff. There's a good chance that it is not correct. I am actually using a Lenovo machine right now, so that's what I'm going to attempt to do once I restart the machine. I apologize if these are incorrect for your machine and they don't work, but just give it a try. If not, if they don't work, by all means, you are free to Google these same things yourself. I'd like to point out that here, try one of them for the Acer machines. I don't know since I don't have one. With the Lenovo machines, this FN key is all the way at the bottom of your keyboard, all the way to the left next to the control key. So sometimes you need to press that button in addition to one of the function keys. And if you aren't familiar with function keys, just look at your keyboard. It's the row of keys that is literally at the top of your computer. So hopefully this helps. And let's get on to the next part of the video. I have my machine turned off. I have my USB flash drive plugged in. And what I'm going to do is turn on the machine, press the power button, and immediately start pressing the F12 button. So for your machine, once you power it on, immediately start pressing whichever is the appropriate function key. So power on, start immediately pressing F12. And again, this is for a Lenovo. And they can already tell that it didn't work.
You gotta be quicker than that.
So I was correct in pressing the F12 button. Not sure why it didn't work, so we're going to try it again. Gotta be quicker. And I started pressing it immediately. And on the screen, it alerted me that we were entering the one-time boot menu. Here we have the different options in terms of things that the machine could use to boot. We are going to select the USB SanDisk. Your name is going to be different, but just keep in mind we are looking for a USB device. So I'm going to select that one and then press enter. All right, so just like when we were creating the installation media, we get these different options. We're going to, for the most part, leave everything as is. English for the language, English for the time and currency format, US for the keyboard and input method. Going to select next. And then I'm going to click install now. So here, you might have a product key, you might not. I'm going to go a few more steps further. I'm not actually reinstalling Windows. I just wanted to go through the process with you so you could see what to do. But since I'm not actually reinstalling anything, I'm just going to select I don't have a product key. And I guess I should say, if you do have a product key, enter it into the box right there. But since I did not have one or do not have one that I need to use for what we're doing, I just selected I don't have one. Here are your different versions of Windows 10. I'm going to select Windows 10 Pro, and again, for you, it might be different. If you did enter a product key, I believe it will automatically make this option or make this selection for you. I'm not completely sure, but your product key does dictate which version of Windows you are able to install. So I've selected Windows 10 Pro, and we'll click next. Okay, here are some more notices and license terms. Going to select accept and then click next. Okay, now this is really where things can differ. Upgrade is for, as it says, install Windows and keep files, settings, and applications. Custom is install. Oh, that was Alexa. Custom is for install Windows only, and everything else is going to be removed. I don't think I have ever done upgrade. But if that's the option you want to go, by all means, select it. I am going to select custom. And at this point, I would delete everything here by selecting it and then click delete. And then do that for everything to completely wipe the drive. And then I would select next. I am not going to go any further than this simply because I do not actually need to reinstall Windows. But from this point forward, any additional on-screen prompts should guide you in terms of what you need to do. So this is where I'm going to stop. So I wanted to come back to this screen because somebody's going to say, you said do this.
You said.
No. I told you what I do, which is select custom, because usually when I'm in the process of installing Windows on a machine, I have already either, one, backed up all of my files to somewhere else, so that way when I reinstall Windows, I'm able to pull from that backup. And that backup can simply be taking your documents, your downloads, your pictures, your videos, putting them in a folder, and even copying them onto this exact same very flash drive, for the most part. Sometimes you might choose to actually back them up to a cloud storage solution or to another computer or something. But if you need to back up your files, make sure you do that before you select the custom option. Also, and usually for myself, I'm actually not in the need to back up files. So everything that's on the computer, I'm okay erasing and not needing to recover. So those are my two usual experiences when it comes to installing Windows. If you happen to go with the upgrade route, it definitely makes sense if you are coming from Windows 7 or Windows 8. Since this is for specifically Windows 10, if you're already on Windows 11, I don't know if you can upgrade to the previous version of the operating system. And of course, if you're currently on Windows 10 and going up to Windows 11, this process should be relatively similar, if not the exact same thing. So just to reiterate, if you need to do a fresh install, make sure you have backed up your files to someplace else. So that way you're not telling me that I told you not to do that, if anybody actually watches this video. So make sure you back up your files if you need to. If you're doing an in-place upgrade, like the first option, it's supposed to keep everything in its place. But again, back up if you feel like you need to. Okay, thank you.